So I get questions from people about who will be on the other side. And eventually we all will be. I preach suicide prevention because it's an exercise in futility. I know without a doubt that I was shown that I would commit suicide at a certain point in my life. But I was also shown that I wouldn't. And that totally fucked with my head my entire life. Because what they showed me when I was there was this life of pain and suffering, basically, lots of pain. And suffering not just physically, but mentally about the state of the world and how unfair it is, etc. Okay? And I always tell people, if you wake up in the morning thinking like that, you are sane and healthy. And the world needs you. Okay? This is basically what I learned about suicide there. There's a point, there's a why, where you did and where you didn't. And where you didn't commit suicide needs help from others in the universe. And their reason for existing probably is to help you not make that wrong decision. And I wonder how many times I made this cycle. So, you hear about the multiverse because they try to explain certain things in quantum mechanics that they have time explaining. And it always comes out, whoa, there's a multiverse where you did and where you didn't. It's kind of like that, but it's not like that. This is what I explain to people, how I was shown. Basically, reality is this crystal, sentient conscious reality, not this physical illusion we live in, okay? The sentient existence of each being throughout time is like a crystal growing. And if you commit suicide and don't do what you were supposed to do, and suicide is one of those things that nobody is supposed to do. That is not the destiny of any sentient being, okay? You end up going where I went. I had a near-death experience. I didn't die. I had a near-death experience. And I don't know how many times I did the cycle. Because you see, you're allowed to go there and you can stay for as long as you want. 1 billion years, 1 trillion years, because there, time is not the same as here. But what you won't be able to do is make that next step. And that's what they showed me. They said, you can stay here if you want, but you can't have that. And they turned, and what they showed me was, I can only describe as God, a pillar of light so bright that 1 million miles of lead wouldn't have slowed it down in the slightest bit, surrounded by every sentient consciousness that had ever existed in the universe. And where you end up is where I was. And you can stay for as long as you want. But if you go back, if you've committed suicide, and you will go back. But where you will go back is the exact same place you were before. You will be born on the same day, to the same parents, go to the same school, say the same thing. Your first kiss will be this person. I mean, it's all identical in every way, right up until that very moment that you decide to or not to end your conscious sentience by choice. You see, we're not animals. Every decision we make is by choice. And before we came here, in that void I was not allowed to see is where we came from. All the information, every decision, our entire lives were contained there in this information. And then here we play it out. So that's the multiverse thing. The universe continues on. And the universe that person can cycle through 1 million times is not the universe that there could be the crystal could have grown for millions and millions of years and I wouldn't know it. Because I committed suicide. And then I go through this cycle again, and I commit suicide and suicide and suicide. Now, one time, a person is born who will interfere with that in some way, and you won't. And your life will split off into a Y and be different. And now you're part of filling up your little void in the crystal. Voids are not allowed in the crystal, but it continues to go. That's the multiverse theory as I see it, as I experienced it, and what they showed me when I died was that it just kept going. There's probably a million years in the future. It's not a multiverse. It's just this crystal, and you will go back and fill in your space. No matter how long it takes, the crystal will be perfect in the end. So in reality, when the crystal is completed, no one will have ended their timeline. Will you be able to communicate with this person? When you die, you will know everything about them, and they will know everything about you when they are in that place. But see, time moves on. Here, in this, as Einstein called it, this persistent illusion, it just moves on. And so you end up where I was. If you commit suicide, you end up where I was. It's a near-death experience. It's not dead. You don't get to go to God. You go to this other place where you're bathed in love and understanding and acceptance, okay? And you can stay as long as you want. But the beautiful thing and the grace of God is that we can try as many times as we need to until we succeed. So somewhere in what would be our past, the person you knew that committed suicide will one day fulfill their life. That's what I want people to know. Sooner or later, everyone will fulfill and complete their part of the crystal that they said that they would do. So I hope that helps explain to you. It's hard. I've spent so many years here trying to explain this phenomena, I really have. I've spent so many years, and it's hard, but through repetition, and knowing me and understanding that over 15 years, none of my philosophy or what I think or what I believe has changed at all. It's only advanced with quantum mechanics. The more they understand about this illusion we live in, the more I understand that place I went to was real, probably more real than this place, where time and space was not the same there. Time didn't exist. Space didn't exist. Only everything exists as information in its purity, and the animal is removed. And it's nothing but the positive things that have to do with spirit. So, yeah, yes, you will see. Yes, you will definitely see your cousin again. Definitely. And when you take your last breath, you will know them as you've never known them before. And they will know you as they've never known you before. You will understand, and all of the beautiful thing is that all of the guilt and the tragedy and the ugliness of human existence is removed. And all that is left is the beautiful spirit that we are. And the information isn't destroyed, but it's cleaned. It's the animalism of it is removed, not the facts. So, yeah, yes. Sooner or later, we all end up with God. God's plan is perfect. He didn't create a flawed universe that we see in man's religion. In man's religion, nothing makes sense. You look at the world and not a single thing about human religion makes a damn bit of sense, okay? That is men controlling men. When in reality, God's creation is perfection. Sooner or later, everybody makes the choice, because when you're there and you have all knowledge and you're being bathed in the most loving, caring, accepting, it's unbelievably wonderful and beautiful, still does not compare with God. Being with God, being with the pillar of light, where you are in the near-death experience is nothing compared to that. So we all choose to go back over and over and over again until we do not commit suicide and we complete our lives. But that would be in what I would consider to be the past. The crystal moves on growing, okay? It's not a multiverse. It's just that each individual sentient being has their own little section and piece of reality. And the reason for that is vectors. Vectors, okay? Every single one of us exists in our own reality and time space. And that is because none of us have moved in the same direction, at the same speed, at the same gravity field by altitude, okay, as any other being on the planet. And therefore, you are out of time sync, regardless of how small the amount is. If you walk in that direction and I walk in that direction, okay, and we're each carrying a clock over the period of our lifetimes, even though the amount would be very small, we are living in a different time. And I ask people, okay, so the astronaut gets in a spaceship and he goes out at the speed of light and comes back, and his brother's 90 years old and he's still 21. But he's not in the past. You can still see him. He's not in the past. He's not in yesterday. We are all connected. We're all one. It's every conscious, sentient mind. We're all one. And we're meant to be one. We're meant to be that way, okay? And when we leave this body, we take our lessons that we've learned in our lives, and we take that with us so that others can experience that. And the beautiful thing is that you can live your cousin's life from birth to death, every moment and every decision, and know them that well. And they, you. And you, anyone else. You can live my life. I don't suggest you do that, but anyone can, okay? This is why I tell people, leave good information. Try to make yourself a better person every day, okay? Because it is important. You are your brother's keeper. The choices you make are important to everyone else. So I hope this helps you. But yes, you will know your cousin, and he won't be the human you knew. He'll be better than that. Okay? And they will cycle. I don't know if it was a male or a female, but that person, that being, okay, will sooner or later fulfill their little place in the crystal to make it perfect.